everybody, and welcome to the Cyber News with Shantaye. I am your hostess, Shantaye, and this is being brought to you by Dominion IT Solutions. Now, before we get started, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share, and also click the notification bell so that you will be the first to know when new content is being released. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. So prior to the Labor Day weekend, Apple pushed out a security update for a vulnerability that was actively being exploited, and it was reported by an anonymous researcher. So if you go to Apple's site, go to support.apple.com, you can see all of their Apple security updates and details regarding what was being applied to your device. This update is for iOS 12.5.6. As you can see, this was for iPhone 5S, the iPhone 6, 6 Plus, iPad Air, iPad Mini 2, iPad Mini 3, and the iPad Touch 6th generation. So this was a vulnerability that was actively being exploited. And pretty much this one was regarding an out of bounds right issue that affected the WebKit that could lead to arbitrary code execution when processing maliciously crafted web content, which was affecting the browser engine Safari. But digging a little bit deeper, it did also affect Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, and Microsoft Edge as well. So pretty much in simple terms, what this meant was that before the patch, if you went to a website that had malicious content on it or that it was compromised, then your phone would be infected or your device. So pretty much with Apple, what they do is they find out about a vulnerability. They go into the lab to go ahead and develop a patch or a fix for it. Then they push out the security update and publish it to their support site to let you know about the vulnerability after the fact. Um, Now, this comes after Apple had released the update for um, August 18th. So it was 20 days for the similar issue. It was for the out of bounds issue with the WebKit again. And then there was another one that was affecting the actual system kernel. Those were released for iOS 15.6.1, iPad OS 15.6.1, and macOS Monterey 12.5.1. So if you're not familiar with what a 0 day is, pretty much when there is a vulnerability that's discovered that is actively being exploited and the vendor is just finding out about it, they have 0 days to fix it because it's already being actively exploited. And that's where they get 0 day from, which is in simple terms. So they have to scramble, rush to do the testing because it is a process to get this stuff patched. It doesn't just come right away because they have to make sure that it doesn't break another application, it doesn't crash the phone or the device itself. So they have to go through a testing phase, and then they have to make sure that they apply it, that it actually fixes the issue. So there's a process behind that. So 0 days are pretty much high priority because there is little to no time to get those rectified. So this year up to date, Apple now has 6 0 day vulnerabilities that they have patched. So make sure that whenever a patch is available for your device that you go ahead and apply it, especially if Apple is identifying that it's a 0 day, because there's the potential that it could be actively being exploited and that your device can be compromised. So that's just a little tip for me. But that's it for this article, guys. Thank you for hanging in there with me. All right, next up, guys, we have a Google Chrome vulnerability that will let a website overwrite your clipboard contents. Now, this information was actually released last week by a developer. His name is Jeff Johnson, and he wrote about it on his blog post. He also mentioned that this is affecting Apple Safari and Mozilla Firefox, which comes around the same time that Apple just patched a vulnerability involving the WebKit that was being actively exploited. So with this vulnerability in particular regarding the clipboard content, the way that this one works is that you can go to a website. I can click on something on the page, and then what'll happen is that it'll automatically give it access to go into my clipboard, erase what I have in there, and replace it with whatever. So if an attacker has control, they can go in and put in a URL that'll redirect you to their website the next time that you paste the content of your clipboard. Or you could have something in there like your banking information, the banking credentials, whatever the case may be. They can have access to that and use that. So this is a big issue because, especially people, they mentioned in the article that people with crypto, with your crypto wallet address, you have that in your clipboard and you go to paste, you could potentially be using the attacker's crypto wallet address to make the transaction. So there's just like a wide plethora of issues surrounding the clipboard, and it doesn't take much. And it mentioned in the article, they talked about innocent gesture meaning I could just click on something or I can just scroll, anything like that. So just be mindful of that. As of now, I've checked around. I haven't seen anything about a fix for this. I know we're up to, this talks about this was being broken in version 104 for Google Chrome. Currently, we're up to 106. You can go to Chrome's Git page and they show you all of the latest updates and what's included in those versions. But I do know that we're up to version 106 right now. But they haven't mentioned anything about a fix. I did take a look at the community to see what the chatter was around this issue, and it seems like there's a little bit of back and forth stating that this issue is not as high priority or is not as widespread as the original poster made it out to be, which, you know, we'll see what happens. I think they're going to come out with a fix for this because this is pretty alarming, and I'm not sure, as far as that chat in the community, if that was one of the Google developers that was trying to downplay it. But I would just be very mindful of what you use in your clipboard. A lot of that copy and paste that you're doing. Please be mindful of what you have in there. I don't really do it too much, and if I do it, it's going to be for something that's I'm willing for it to be compromised, like a simple website or some keyword searches that I do. But please be mindful if you're doing anything that's tied to your banking or PII or personally identifiable information, name, social security number, address, things like that that you don't want out there on the internet as being compromised by an attacker. And then you have to deal with identity theft. So just please make sure that you keep that in mind. Okay, guys? All right, thank you. That's it for this article. Hey, guys. So next up, we have Google confirms a Chrome 0 day, which is the sixth one this year as attacks begin. And they're urging users to update now. So this was pushed out a few days ago. So again, this is the sixth one this year as far as 0 day is concerned. Again, if you don't know what a 0 day is, pretty much Google was notified that there was a vulnerability involving Google Chrome browser that is actively being exploited or attacked. So what 0 day means is that they have little to no time to push out a fix for it because it's already being attacked. So 0 days are high priority, meaning that they have to go into the lab, they have to push through a lot of processes where they have to test to make sure that they don't break the Chrome browser, make sure they don't break other applications associated with it, etc. So this is pretty much a rush process to make sure that they get that patch pushed out and applied. So it has been pushed out because this was disclosed actually on August 30th. So the latest version that includes the fix for this 0 day is 105.0.5195.102, which is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux platforms. Now, if you don't know how to check to see if you have an update available, go into your browser, go into Chrome, click on the three dots on the right, or open up the settings panel. Go to Help, and then click on About Google Chrome. Once you click on that, it'll automatically start checking for an update. And then it'll let you know if there's an update available or if your browser is up to date. If it's not this version, it will let you know and you want to go ahead and apply it. You will have to relaunch your Chrome browser. So close out any tabs that you have, but make sure that you go ahead and do the update. Again, this is affecting the Mojo libraries for Google Chrome, which is basically majority of the code for Google Chrome browser. That's pretty much it. They haven't pushed out any other information about it, just for the simple fact that they don't want additional attackers to understand how this vulnerability works so that they can also jump in on the fun to actively exploit it. So please make sure that you update. But that's it for this one, guys. Thank you so much.